What is up, Bus Banter friends? We are now transitioning to Chop Talk Sports. Me and Oscar are here back in Boulder, and today we're talking strictly ball. The NFL divisional round of the playoffs is set. We're here to break down the games and kind of talk about last week predictions and where we sit at our big rivalry with who, at the end of the day, knows more ball. Whoever has the least amount of picks right at the end of the playoffs is doing a milk mile, and it is freezing outside. So you do not want to do that. Luckily, I know more ball than Oscar, so I'm here to win it. Quickly looking at our rankings from last week, I am 5-1. I missed out on I picked the Chargers to win over the Texans, and Oscar is 4-2. He was wrong with the Packers and the Bucks. So I guess just off the bat, Oscar, we can talk quickly about last week. Any big surprises or, underdogs that you just didn't see was going to happen that, might switch your thoughts going forward for the rest of the playoffs?
Yeah, an underdog I'm looking forward to is seeing how much milk you can consume during a mile. But no, on a more serious note, the Commanders, they looked good. It's going to take a lot out of them, obviously. My picks are kind of set in stone, though. I don't want to reveal anything before we get into the conversation, if that makes sense. But I'll leave the floor to you if you want to discuss any underdogs or any performances that struck you. I honestly thought, sorry, I know we're about to pivot to you, but I thought Bo Nix played better than what the scoreboard said. He had an awesome first drive, which was the only time they actually put up points. But that was a game up until the the second half, excuse me. And then Buffalo just tore him apart. But yeah, that was definitely impressive. And shout out the Texans too. That was good to see. Herbert had like 3 picks the entire season, had 3 picks that game. So that defense is definitely real and back with Al Shazier in the lineup.
Love it. Love it. Before I get into my thoughts, I first wanted to give a quick shout out to my guy, Petros at Goonsville and the whole Goonsville community. They've supported us throughout our transition, whether it's talking Buff Sports or, our expansion. So if you haven't gone to check out Goonsville merch and clothing, or just follow them because they got a great community over there, shout out Goonsville. Those are the boys and they're sticking with us. Anyways, yeah, I guess quickly from last week, I got to talk about the Vikings and the Rams, that Monday night game. I think it brings up a lot of conversations. Sam Darnold, only 9 points, was sacked 9 times, tying a playoff record. I mean, maybe all of them weren't his fault, but he just looked like a ghost out there. He looked afraid. He just looked like a guy that didn't want the franchise tag for next year. So I think the Vikings got a lot to figure out. It was pretty interesting. I mean, they had 14 wins this season and ended up with 4 losses. And all of those losses were to the Lions and then the Rams and then the Lions and the Rams again, obviously the last 2 games of the season. So I don't know if we're going to call the Vikings frauds. Maybe they just cannot figure out how to beat the Rams or the Lions. But, having such a successful season and then Sam Darnold kind of, given that performance like he did. I mean, also just going to say the Rams played phenomenal, and I'm going to definitely pick them to move on in a bit. But before we go into that, I just had to talk about Vikings and Sam Darnold's a fraud. I think that's J.J. McCarthy's job next year as long as he's healthy.
Yeah, definitely. I forgot they'd lost to the Rams too in the regular season. What a bummer though, man. You win what, 14 games was it? Yeah, 14
Yep.
games, go out in the wild card round. I mean, that's
Classic,
just got it.
classic Minnesota sport team. I
That
saw
is
like
a heartbreaker. Yeah, fun fact, they're that team, that city in general, because they got what, the Twins, I forget the NHL team out there, the T-Wolves. They are the longest city / franchise team, whatever you want to call it, without a championship.
drought.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jesus
Thought
Christ.
it was a drought.
It's a tough time to be a Minnesota fan, but luckily for the rest of these teams, they have lived to see another week in the divisional round. I think we'll kind of just pipe off like last week. I think one game at a time, talk about what we like going forward. So going right into it, the first game of the weekend on Saturday, we got the Texans playing at the Chiefs, coming off their bye from being the first seed. The Chiefs are 8.5 favorites. I know we've kind of been going back and forth about if we want to talk spread or money line. I think it's fine for us to talk spread, but when it comes down to it, the picks are going to be money line just to keep it all fair, a fair playing game. But you want to go first, Chiefs Texans?
Yeah, sure. I will definitely take the Texans spread comfortably, plus 8.5. That's a lot of points. This is kind of giving me young Joe Burrow coming into not the divisional, but the AFC Championship and beating Patrick Mahomes vibes. I don't think the Texans have enough tools to get it done. That being said, I would not be surprised if they did because
You got to pick
this.
one, bro. You got to pick one.
Oh,
But
I'm going Chiefs. I'm going
okay,
Chiefs for
I
sure.
see what you're
Chiefs
saying.
money line. But if
Okay,
we want to talk about spread, I'll easily
okay.
take 8.5 points. This team, yeah, has kind of been on fraud watch all year, even though they are 15-2. You know, probably could be 16-1 if they actually play
Yeah.
in the last week of the regular season. But yeah, we'll see what happens. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Chiefs team like all year long, kind of like you're saying fraud watch when it's crazy that they really only lost one real game, but that's because most of the games they lost like within 3 points, and I guess there are a bunch of like penalties that could have been called. We're not going to talk about he said she said, but having the spread be I just think for the most part they haven't hit the spread, and that's why I think this is going to be the game where they are gonna like crush the Texans. I don't really think the Texans deserve to be here this year. I mean, I talked about it last week. They're hurt. I didn't think they were going to beat the Chargers. They played all right. I think it's just this is like everyone is sleeping on the Chiefs once again, and this is just going to be the first game in the playoffs where everyone's like, "All right, is this really going to happen again?" You know, and it just hasn't happened yet. Like it hasn't hit the crowd yet because they haven't played in the playoffs yet. You know, additionally having that bye and having some time. You know, Andy Reid is cooking up something. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, could potentially be the GOAT. Like if he ends up playing the way he has the past couple of years, and for them to go back to back to back, it would just be a documentary like while we're watching it. So as you know, I got a future on the Chiefs to win it all. It's very sneaky, and I think the Chiefs are going to end up blowing them out. So I'm taking Chiefs money line. I'm also going to take the Chiefs spread. So I guess we can look at that if we want to. Focusing on the money line again.
Dude, that is so sneaky and edgy of you. Take a Chiefs future, dude. I'm
It's
sorry.
sneaky
Whoa.
because no one's
Oh,
doing
sorry.
it, though.
Sorry.
No
I
one is
didn't know you
doing
could
it.
ball like that to bet the reigning two-time Super Bowl champions. So,
Well,
so
they aren't
sneaky.
even the favorites to win it. I mean, it's the Lions. So, I love the Lions, but experience counts. So we'll see. Let's get into it. Talking Lions, the next game on the Saturday slate is Lions and Commanders playing in Detroit. The Lions come in at 9.5 favorites. Obviously, the Commanders coming in. Jaden Daniels with the game winning drive in the field goal, being like the first rookie in a while to get a playoff win away. There's only like a select few. I think it was like Joe Flacco and Russell Wilson I saw in Bleacher Report, and now Jaden Daniels. So, he's doing it for the city. It's been like about a decade for the Commanders since they had a playoff win. And I think, for Commander fans, it's awesome. They got their win, but, this is just where the drought ends. I mean, the Lions are the team to beat in this run, it seems like. I'm taking Lions straight up. And I don't even want to talk spread because it just makes it confusing. I think you're the spread guy, but I'm taking Lions straight up. I think Jameer Gibbs is going to go off. I think this is just going to be a hard fought battle where, Dan Campbell is going to show once again that going for it on fourth down, is the right thing. And he's going to be aggressive and it's going to work. I'm not saying it's going to work out for the rest of the playoffs, but for this game, it's going to work. And I'm taking the Lions straight up.
Yeah, I like that. I'm also going to take, Lions money line and the spread on this one. My heart is telling me it's going to be a blowout. That being said, if it's a close game, this might be a hot take, but I think Jaden Daniels is already a better quarterback than Jared Goff. And Jared in golf, he's just had a lot of pieces. You know what I mean? His entire career. And I do realize he kind of had to like rebuild himself. I respect that. Like, I think a lot of people were expecting after he got traded from the Rams for his career to just die, but it didn't, and he's back. He made it. And honestly, this is the more I keep talking about it, the more I realize how stupid this is. But Jaden Daniels is freaking balling out, and you got to ride the hot hand. And this guy, there's no other guy that has been clutcher over the last 5 weeks than Mr. Daniels. So taking Lions money line, but if it's a close game, I might sprinkle.
Okay. No, it's fine. I think for the fans, like don't go crazy. It sound from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you're taking the Lions, you're taking the Chiefs, but you like both of the spreads, thinking that they'll be closer games than people might think.
I think the Lions are going to blow them out. But what I'm saying is, if it's a close game going in the fourth quarter, and like late in the third quarter, I might sprinkle.
Okay. All right, bro. Okay, so all right, we're going a little chalk right now. We both have the Chiefs and Lions. I think most of the country does at the moment. So there's nothing too crazy there. I think these next two games on Sunday, we might have a little controversy. I kind of want you to go first. The first game, I guess we'll just go in order. We got Rams at Eagles in Philadelphia. The Eagles are 6-point favorites. Who do you got?
Nice. 6-point favorites. Yeah, I got the Eagles pretty convincingly on this one. I slept hard on the Rams last week and paid the price. That being said, I don't know. That was really weird. That was like easily like the Vikings had just been on a cold streak, you know. That was like the first time in Kevin O'Connell's career that he hadn't scored a touchdown in what was it, like 21 drives straight, including the Lions game. That was odd. That was very bizarre. It was in Arizona. There was a lot of voodoo magic going on, if I may. So give me the Eagles convincingly to
Wow.
cover and the money line.
I don't hate it, not even being a Rams fan. Like, I'm just going to say it. I don't hate it. And that's because when you got Saquon Barkley on the other side of the field, it's like anything can happen. I mean, bro is, if not the best running back in the league this year. And, I think the last time the Eagles played the Rams, it did not go well for the Rams. Just saying that. The Eagles also have one of the best offensive lines in the country, and the Rams coming off 9 sacks. They're not going to be that successful against the Eagles. But again, I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking their spread easily too. I think that's way too many points, but I'm taking Rams money line too. And that's just because this team has experience at the quarterback and the skill positions where they need. And then they're young and hungry on the D line. I think this is a great front seven. And I just think like playing the Vikings that they just won, like if you watched it, like the Rams offense didn't really get going. Cooper Kupp had one reception, like Puka had like under 50 yards. Like it just didn't, like it was more the defensive battle, It was more the defense like kind of taking charge. So I think this will be definitely taking the over. I think it's gonna be a great game. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna come down to a field goal winning drive, whoever has the ball at the end of the game. And I'm taking Matthew Stafford. I don't know. There's something about him in the playoffs. He's like 4-1 with the Rams in the playoffs. I think Sean McVay is a great coach. I was just watching like a hype up speech he had after the game, and I'm all in on this Rams team. I think it's a script for the Rams to, somehow figure it out and get the Super Bowl win for LA. So I'm just gonna keep staying on the Rams hot streak. But all right, I mean, at least we got what the fans deserved. We got one pick that is controversy. So one of us is definitely going to be running this milk run. We're not going tied. You got anything else, or should we head into this last game?
Yeah. You said the same thing about Chargers. LA Destiny.
Yeah.
LA. And also, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be ironic or funny because what's happening in Los Angeles right now is a tragedy, and my heart goes out to everyone affected in those areas. But what I am saying is
Chargers don't count.
The voodoo magic stops here. Okay.
Yeah.
Rams, awesome. Niners are literally a better team than the Rams, anyways. We should be playing the Eagles in the divisional, but it's fine. We're gonna go get a freaking baller in the first round. So I'd rather be, ready to draft than get my hopes super high and losing the divisional to Philadelphia.
All right. Sounds like an angry Niners fan to me. So let's keep moving it on. Last game, which is gonna be, it's gonna be the game of the year, Sunday night. I cannot wait to just sit on the couch, bro, with the boys and just move. Probably order some wings or something and just like watch some good playoff football because obviously if you guys are watching, I'm sure you know ball, and it's just like 2 MVP candidates. It's like, let's talk about the Bills real quick before we even get into our conversation, because the Bills are a team who have gotten into the playoffs past couple of years, like with Josh Allen, and they've never been able to do enough to, get past the Chiefs, get past what the Bengals then, and there's always like something that they're just missing. And they had Stephon Diggs, they lost him. They didn't really add anyone like skill position wise that I would say that like kind of makes me think, okay, it's the Bills' year. Like Amari Cooper isn't going to do it for me. That's when I look at the team like the Ravens, adding someone like Derrick Henry when last year they were so close to making that Super Bowl, adding now a top back in the league. It's like that is what a winning team does. And I don't know if that's more of just a GM type of thing, and that's like me just only focusing on the running back. I mean, there could be someone in the trenches that the Bills got, and I could just be tweaking a little bit. But I think the Ravens are here to win, and they're here to win it all. I know it's been the past couple of seasons, they've also been super close, and it's like even when Lamar is an MVP candidate, they still, can't get over the hump. It just, to me, it feels like this is the year. So if y'all didn't realize, I'm taking Ravens. I mean, the line is at what? It's at Baltimore is -1 right now. So it really is a toss-up. And I mean, I love it. I mean, we really don't know what's going to go. I'm probably going to try and stay away from this. If anything, bet the over. Probably a Derrick Henry, Lamar touchdown, something like that. But I'm just going with my gut, and my gut tells me to go with the Ravens.
I love how you're like a part-time you do like consulting in the betting world now. Like, stay away from it, but if I was a betting man, take the over.
No, it's funny because, in my past internships, it's like I can't talk about betting.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it still feels like, oh, stay away. But, so it's a little sticky there. But yeah, no, I'm going all in for the Ravens. What do you think?
Well, if you guys haven't noticed yet, I'm a very sophisticated man with very sophisticated words, and I don't take anything lightly. I mean, sorry, I effed that up, but my hat says it all. Anyways, time for a fun stat. This is how the last 5 years have played out for the Bills in the playoffs. 2021 AFC Championship, lost to Kansas City 24-38. 2022 AFC Divisional, lose to Kansas City 36-42. 2023 AFC Divisional, lose to Cincinnati 10-27. 2024 AFC Divisional, lose to Kansas City 24-27. There's got to be a point. It's just science, So if you believe in science, science says there's a breaking point where eventually you put in the freaking work and it shows. Josh Allen is the MVP. I'm sorry. He is. Lamar has better stats, but he's also got a ton more Pro Bowl players on his team, Josh Allen doesn't even have a guy over 1,000 yards receiving or rushing. And his team is in the place it's at right now. Like you said, they lost Stephon Diggs as well. He's got no one. He's about to show y'all on Sunday, 4:30 Mountain Time, why he's the MVP. And the Bills will win this game and go play the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship again.
I think the main reason why I don't hate it, I mean, obviously it's a 50-50. It's a flip of the coin who's going to win. But the game being in Buffalo, like we talked about last week, just Bills Mafia is like no other fan base.
Yes.
So, if there's any way they're going to win it, it's at home. And I mean, that's what, having a higher seed does. So, yeah, it's hard because I agree with you in all the ways that Josh Allen is that guy. I just think this is kind of a 1A and 1B type of game, or even just 1A, 1A. And it's like they have Derrick Henry. The Bills don't. Like, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I think that's what I'm expecting, but I wouldn't be surprised. And as a bettor, I'm going to stay away from it because I got no clue what's going to happen. I think as an NFL fan, we just got to watch and enjoy some good playoff football happening because, before we know it, the NFL season is going to be over. And I guess we'll have March Madness, we'll have NBA, but there's nothing like watching football. So, I mean, I guess we got two of the same, and then we got two opposite. So someone is running that milk mile. I guess if y'all are still listening, let us know who you predict is going to do it. Who knows ball better? I think it's definitely pretty clear. but let me know in the comments. And we appreciate y'all. This is Chop Talk. For now, we're just kind of running with it. We don't know where we're going to go. I mean, it's the last semester of us here at Boulder and as roommates. So obviously, I mean, it doesn't never have to end. But for now, we're talking football. Maybe in a week, we'll be talking college basketball. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in. I guess I'll stop yapping. Oscar, you got anything to close off?
Chop Talk's back, baby, and this is the most Chop Talk thing we can do, man. Milk Mile. You guys are not going to want to miss out on this, so make sure to stay tuned. Dean and I are going to be posting all the time on the socials, keeping y'all updated with live updates, live reactions of the Eagles and the Bills winning these games, of Dean crying, melting down, drinking milk, prepping for the Milk Mile. You guys are not going to want to miss any of this, so tap in, like, subscribe, share with friends. Seriously. We love you guys. It's been a journey. And like always, I just love the podcast. You know, I love doing it with my guy, Dino. I'm sorry. I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Cheers. I'm just saying I love talking ball. And, we're just trying to be a relatable, just sports fan guy who, like, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we appreciate y'all for listening, and whatever we can do to, keep you entertained. Like, I watch podcasts all the time. So it's kind of just, building a brand on our own and seeing where we take it. But yeah, enjoy watching some divisional round of football. We got on Mondays also the Natty for college football. So maybe we'll talk that. And there's also a lot of news about Deion Sanders right now. Maybe we'll go back to talking some Colorado football. Who knows? Y'all got to stay tuned. Like he said, follow us. We are now at shoptalk.sports on Instagram. Yeah, don't miss out. And cheers.
Cheers.